Greetings, everybody. This is Dexter Kendrick. I'd like to welcome you all back to Dexter Kendrick Soul right here on YouTube, your place for relevant astrological advice and some really dope soul music. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dexter Kendrick Soul for more conversations and forecasts about life right here on Earth as the world turns. So, how many of you are feeling lately like you're ready to go bigger? Ready to get more, ready to derive more, ready for more abundance, ready for more growth in some area of your life? It's highly appropriate at this time because yesterday, Jupiter, the planet of gifts and luck, also mythologically the god of, the king of the gods in Greek mythology, just went direct in Virgo. As we know, we always talk about the planets, which are the driving force of the horoscope, the signs that they're in, and what it means for us. We bring it on home in under 10 minutes. So basically, Jupiter has been traveling through Virgo ever since last September. Virgo is the sign of that is associated with work. Those things that we do behind the scenes, the responsibilities that we do, the mundane aspects of our daily life that can become something spiritual in nature if we tune into why these things are necessary. Things like making the bed, cooking your meals, exercise if you are so inclined, things like sweeping the floor and cleaning, order, creating order out of chaos. Virgos have a tendency to be analytical. They have a tendency to not like chaos so much. Their minds are always working. And Virgo's key aspect or main positive quality is that they are excellent at problem solving. And so you sit a jumble of things in front of Virgos and their minds start to work and begin to see what you need, what you don't need, begin to deduce how it got there. And so with Jupiter in Virgo, the constellation of Virgo, Jupiter, the planet, psychologically for us represents those areas where we're interested in deriving more and expanding and getting meaning from our experiences at the same time. And so as Jupiter has been traveling through Virgo, whatever area Virgo has lain in our chart is an area in which we are interested in going the distance. We're interested in going further than we have gone before. Even if it's uncharted territory, we're quite interested in seeing how far we can go. And so for some people, for example, for Gemini, it's the area regarding the home life. So at this point, we will be interested in seeing if we could plant some seeds that will take root, perhaps in buying a home at some point, or perhaps in expanding who lives within our home. Relationships with family members also may be expanding. We might be reaching out to extended family, etc. Our family might be growing in some way. That's something that we would have seen if we were born when the sun is in Gemini, just as an example. Last, I want to talk about this because this conversation is about Jupiter's going direct. And so we have to kind of touch on what a retrograde aspect is and why it's going direct. So last November, think about last November, December. Think about the growth and expansion you were experiencing since last September in whatever area of your life, or just think about expansion that's happened in your life since last fall, since Labor Day. So we think about the expansion that's happened in our lives last fall, and because Jupiter, planet of gifts and luck and expansion, was in Virgo, he also made an interesting aspect to his brother Pluto, which is the god of the underworld. And so that growth and positivity and optimism that we had as we were moving forward, there was also forces and people and circumstances who perhaps may have tried to hold us back, who perhaps had feelings about us trying to move forward into our new heavenly body and tried to pull us back into hell, which is perhaps where we may have come from in some circumstances. If we were living in a slum and we tried to move out, and our slumlord of a landlord attempted to hold us back or pursue us in some way. That's similar to what happened whenever souls were, banished to the underworld. After we died, mythologically, we would go to the underworld, and Pluto, god of the underworld, was in charge of holding on to those souls, and nobody was able to leave hell. Hell wasn't seen as a negative thing as in Christianity. It was just a place where you go when things are done. But what ends up happening and what we know is that life is a cycle. And so while one thing might be done, we can give birth to something brand new. And that is something that we would have been experiencing all throughout November, December, January, when Jupiter began to go retrograde. Whenever planets go retrograde in the sky, they appear to go backward in the sky. And so we have an opportunity to see that the gifts and the growth and expansion as we were leaving whatever personal hell we decided to leave behind because something was dead or stale. It doesn't mean we were suffering. It just means that we weren't growing and it was already dead. And that's what Pluto represents. Pluto's currently traveling through the constellation of Capricorn. Please check out my conversation on Pluto and Capricorn. We'll be visiting it and touching on it here and there between now and 2023, of course. As I was saying, wherever Jupiter lies in our chart and whenever a planet goes retrograde, the gifts and abundance of Jupiter have been withheld because we experienced a boost in September. We decided we were going to make a move. We were going to take that next step. We were going to see where something could go. We were going to invite more abundance and increase in some area of our life. We can find that out by taking a look at where Virgo is in our chart. Visit alabe.com or visit me on Facebook at Dexter Kendrick Soul or Twitter at D Kendrick Soul or Instagram at Dexter Kendrick Soul. But nonetheless, wherever Virgo lies in our chart is an area that we were looking to expand. And when those powers were withheld, is an opportunity for us to then begin to integrate this new movement. And now, yesterday, which was May 9th, Jupiter has begun resuming its forward movement. So we had to pick up the pieces when we left our old space, which we might refer to as hell, and entered into a new territory. We had to do some adjustment. There was downtime. We perhaps weren't able to make significant movement forward during that period of time from December until now, but we've been able to organize this new movement and decide what we're going to do with it when the timing is right for us to grow again. Leaps and bounds. We can think about Jupiter as being the planet of expansion. It's also the largest planet in our solar system. And it's the giant planet. Jupiter does nothing small. Jupiter does everything big. And so when we're talking about Jupiter going forward again, it will be in Virgo until September 9th of this year, at which time it'll move into Libra. So this is going to be extremely lucky and beneficial year for Libra. It's going to be lucky for all of us in some area of our lives, but I like to just give a little bit of forewarning about some of the positive things coming down the pipe for Libra, because it'll be a great year for you. Once again, the essence of this conversation is with Jupiter's expanding in Virgo, the essence of it going direct again is called putting the pieces together again. So we had to let go of some things, and we perhaps had to fight for our freedom a little bit or flee under a cloak of invisibility. There may have been some storms that were thrown our way as we began to leave the environment that was no longer healthy and certainly no longer giving us any vitality. And we've had to go into relative dormancy, not necessarily hiding, but dormancy while we put together our pieces again now that we've claimed our freedom. And so now we're ready to move full steam ahead. We can see very clearly what direction life was attempting to move us in. And because Jupiter, mythologically, after he overthrew his father, his half-brothers, the Cyclopses, gave him a thunderbolt. And so Jupiter rules storms. Even though his brother Hades might whine and complain and send the dogs after us when we're trying to get our freedom and say, you know what, the hell with this is not going anywhere, I have to move in a different direction, we end up being okay because Jupiter rules storms, and those storms end up having a meaning. And so with Virgo, being in Virgo, the sign that is the problem-solving sign, we've been able to, luckily, Jupiter, even though it was retrograde, is still going to give us luck. Luckily, come into contact with people and circumstances that give us the resources we've needed to pull our lives together. We may not have been able to move forward, but we've been able to lay some serious groundwork so that now we can take a leap and bound throughout the rest of its travel through Virgo. Of course, Virgo is always associated with responsibility. We may have had to become more responsible in some areas in order to claim our abundance. That is necessary. Virgo represents the areas of life, those things that we don't really want to do. Running the vacuum cleaner, sweeping the carpet, balancing our checkbook, going to work and showing up on time, not using sick days until we actually need them for a period of time because we're working toward a larger goal, throwing away aspects of jealousy and neediness in our relationship so we can derive something larger and more substantial and grounded. Virgo is an earth sign, so we're always interested in working with the material and making something that lasts. Be blessed. I will be coming back next week with a conversation for you. This is a conversation on Jupiter's direct motion in Virgo, putting the pieces back together again. I wish you much love and peace. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dexter Kendrick Soul here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'll talk to you soon.